Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin.
Layard's layer.
We're joined today for a quick chat by the creator of the Layard's Layer channel. We are going to give you viewers something special though, as we're asking the man to step outside himself and consider his work and input into the scene from an external perspective. So, with that in mind, hello and thank you for joining us today.
Hello everybody.
So, you've put yourself into someone else's shoes. What does the person in those shoes think of self-proclaimed games journalist Kieren Hawken?
The guy has somewhat of a really bad reputation these days in the industry anyway. He's just basically being a complete idiot, really. He talks complete crap half the time. He's had failure after failure in recent years. Everything seems to have gone wrong for him. He's turned from this guy who was really highly regarded into a bit of a laughingstock.
Okay, moving on. Have you seen the tiny Sky News swipe clip that Mr. Hawken appeared in and mentions at every opportunity?
I have no idea why the producers even put him in it. He should have been cut right out.
It's well known that you really wanted an Amiga for Christmas and your parents promised they'd bought you one. But when you unwrapped the box, it was actually an Atari ST instead. How did you feel about the computer, and how did that make you feel about that Christmas?
The ST was shit. Just annoyed me so much. And really spoiled it.
What did you say to your parents?
Well, you lied to me then, didn't you?
What do you think Kieren's telling his customers when they buy one of his books of recycled reviews?
You're basically telling them that they're idiots.
What do you think of Kieren changing his ZX Spectrum reviews to other platforms by just changing the computer name?
I think it's awful. Anyway. Calm down, because that stuff just really annoyed me.
When you were reading Kieren's book, what were you thinking?
Get on with it. This isn't interesting. You're not adding anything.
What did you think the main problem is with all of Kieren's books?
It doesn't add any kind of excitement, even if it's something really cool that he's talking about. It's so monotonous and boring.
Who do you think should have written the book instead?
It would have been nice if they'd had someone who had a bit more personality and wasn't so dull and monotonous.
Many have said that Kieren is retrogaming's equivalent of Walter Mitty. What do you think?
He does tend to bend to the truth a little. He does tend to overplay his importance in certain things, I suppose.
What do you think Kieren was really good at?
He's good at manipulating people.
Please describe Kieren's popularity.
He comes across as amazingly unlikable.
Kieren's caused an awful lot of trouble in the community, caught stealing content from sites like Wikipedia, Moby Games and YouTube, while backstabbing and spreading lies. What do you think of his behaviour?
This guy is a bit of an arsehole, really. I think that's the only way you can put it. He doesn't take the blame for anything. He won't admit that he did anything wrong. It's almost like he did everything right.
Kieren sees himself as the font of all knowledge, and rival authors such as Chris Wilkins are clueless. What do you think?
He doesn't think that they were as talented as they thought they were and stuff like that. So he doesn't really do himself any favours there at all. And, he's really... the way his mannerisms and stuff is just like, so off, and he's so unlikable.
What would you learn after talking to Kieren?
You learn to really dislike him.
I'd like to retire to your couch now and talk about Stuart Ashen's book, Attack of the Flickering Skeletons. It's well known that you wrote a large portion of the book, and you collaborated with a number of YouTube stars. What was it like working so closely with Chinny Vision on his entry?
Oh, Chili Hill, don't really want to give him any coverage. Guy's a massive troll on Twitter, so he's probably someone that he's best not talking about.
Okay, let's leave that particular troll under his Twitter bridge. Was there anyone who didn't stick to the brief? Maybe someone that Stuart regretted including in the book, perhaps someone that nobody has heard of.
There's always someone who doesn't seem to quite get the concept. There was in the first book as well. And here's another person who, Daniel Hardcastle, official Nerd Cubed apparently, does a Game Boy game, so he didn't quite get the home computer thing. But there we go.
Oh dear. How about we move on to one of your good friends, DJ Slopes? What did you think of his entry?
Slopes Game Room, Dan Everson, he gets it wrong as well by talking about Chris Crossmate, my video on the Mega CD, which again isn't a bloody home computer game, so I'm not sure why that's there.
It sounds like you had problems with a lot of your co-authors. Who do you think wrote the worst entry in the book?
Laura, not sure who she is, contributed to Let's Play Videogames.com. She chose a console game as well, Barbie Game Girl. So there's a few people in this one actually went against the concept.
Did none of those people listen to your feedback about their entries before they were published? Surely there couldn't have been anyone else that stuffed up.
Kim Justice also failed to get the I think in the first book Kim, for some reason, chose a console game and it's supposed to be a computer game. She's done the same again here by choosing WCW NWA Thunder, which isn't completely terrible, in my opinion. But yeah, not a home computer game.
Your close friend Peter Lee also worked on the book. Did you agree with his game selection?
The Nostalgia Nerd, he chose Viz. I can't agree with that actually, because I actually thought Viz was quite cool. I quite enjoyed it. Thought it had good humour. Don't agree with that whatsoever. I remember it getting quite good reviews at the time as well, so I'm not sure about that.
What do you think was the best entry in the book, and who wrote it?
My entry, Human Killing Machine.
I think we'll leave it there, and go back to talking about Kieren's books. What did you think of Kieren's latest attempt to defraud the retro community, where he cobbled together the reviews from the first volume of his A to Z of NES games into a signed hardback collector's edition, and had the cheek to set the price at a preposterous £60?
Really, the book ends up just being loads of reviews. It's actually, for what it is, for what it costs, is quite lazy. It's not going to teach you anything you haven't heard before. It really, really isn't. I mean, there's literally nothing in there that you couldn't just go on the internet and read. I mean, all of this stuff, I would have loved to have seen some more interesting articles. I would have loved to have seen some interviews with actual game designers in there talking about their games and offering some more insight into the NES and what they did with it. I mean, that's what I would expect to see in any book like this. I would expect to see those developer interviews to get that exclusive content that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, surely he's written for magazines and books and all sorts. Surely he must have connections that he can get these kind of people to come and talk about their games. It just seems crazy that he couldn't get, he didn't put stuff like that in. And for the price, just literally reading down a list of games and what his opinion of them is not what I would want to pay £60 for. So I'm bloody glad I only bought the PDF, to be honest, because it's just, I was very disappointed with this. I mean, if you love the NES, then you'll probably get some enjoyment out of it. If you don't, and you certainly won't, there's certainly nothing there that's going to change your mind about the NES, and there's nothing in there new. There's nothing in there that makes the book stand out or makes it worth buying, and the price is just extremely prohibitive. So that's it, really.
Almost all of the big-name developers refused interviews with you, but if you could turn the tables and force one of them to appear on your tablet for a chat, who would your dream guest be?
Peter Molyneux, coming on the screen.
Why Peter Molyneux?
He's very honest. He comes across as a really honest, decent guy who just wanted the best. And also, the way I saw his way, he also came across as a visionary as well. He really seemed to know where the industry was going to go.
Many have stated that apart from the covers, Kieren's books are worthless cut and paste garbage. Compared to the contents of Kieren's latest book, what did you think of the cover?
I absolutely loved, and I thought that was by far its strongest element.
What do you think's a fair rating for a really terrible game published by Atari?
I think I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
What did you think of the article Kieren wrote for Retrogamer magazine, and the subsequent video he uploaded to his Layard's Layer channel about the history of video gaming?
It seems to ignore whole aspects of the video game industry, whole times, things that happened. It's just a little bit confused.
What do you think the main issue is with Kieren's latest book?
But it's just all over the place. It just doesn't know what it wants to be. Oh, sorry, excuse my dogs. They're being an absolute pain today. They're barking at anything and everything, and I have no idea why, and it's driving me crazy. But yeah, it just doesn't know what it wants to be.
Your last comment sounds amazingly unprofessional with your dog barking all through it. Would you like to re-record that segment? I'm happy to splice it in, so you don't come across as someone that releases sloppy work.
Don't bother. Don't even,
You've said in the past that UK retro gamers are far too smart to buy Kieren's books and only complete idiots would invest. Who would buy them?
I suppose Americans might.
Finally, could you describe Kieren's whole career and level of effort on a scale of 1 to 10?
It is just terrible. I mean, I'm really even tempted to give it a 1 out of 10. It's that bad. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10, I think. But I am, being kind. I think. I just think there's just really nothing positive I can say about it.